After you stop taking Kratom, there tends to be a long period of time where you just don't feel right. And today I want to talk to you about my secret weapon. Hey guys, welcome back to Joey Talks Life. My name is Joey, and on today's episode, I want to talk to you about Kratom and LDN, or low-dose naltrexone. For those of you who are quitting Kratom, or you're in your taper and you intend to stop taking Kratom, after you stop, most people go through acute withdrawals, which last for about 5 to 7 days, and those are things like feeling like you have the flu, insomnia, diarrhea, restless legs, chills, sweating, like just feeling really physically ill. After that subsides, then you go through something called pause, post-acute withdrawal syndrome, and that can last really depending on your body, how long you've been taking Kratom, and how much you are taking every day. It can last for a few weeks, like 5-6 weeks. Some people it lasts for a few months. And while pause is more mild than the initial acute withdrawals, they are more persistent. And so it's kind of a constant battle because they last so long. During my withdrawal, I tried everything you could probably imagine. I know a lot of you have left comments about different supplements and medications and things along those lines. And yes, some of those things did help alleviate some of the withdrawals, but there's nothing that I used that actually took them away. But in my research, in my reading and diving deep into the internet, trying to find ways to help my body heal, because part of what happens when you use Kratom is it is in essence hijacking your dopamine system, your serotonin system, and your opioid system. So these receptors are being stimulated to produce more of these neurotransmitters, which obviously makes us feel really good. But then when you remove Kratom from your daily use, all of a sudden now your receptors are not receiving that stimuli anymore, and they don't know how to produce the right amount for you to have homeostasis any longer. And the post-acute withdrawal syndrome is in essence your brain and body trying to readjust to the normal levels again on their own so that you feel normal. And I keep saying this, but I will make a video about the supplements that I used. But there are a lot of supplements that can really help to support your brain and your body to get to homeostasis, hopefully sooner than later. But LDN, low-dose naltrexone, is a prescription medication that is widely prescribed for a ton of different reasons. I first stumbled upon it because of longevity. So some people simply take low-dose naltrexone for its effects on helping to extend someone's lifespan. It does really well for reducing inflammation. A lot of chronic pain patients use it. It's used just for so many different reasons. It's very, very safe, and it's easily prescribed because, again, you can just get it prescribed for longevity. Now, you may have heard of naltrexone, which is a medication that was developed, I think, in the 40s or 50s, maybe 60s, to help people who are in recovery from opioid abuse or alcoholism. And the typical dose of naltrexone is 50 milligrams, and what it does is it completely blocks your opioid receptors so that if someone was to try to use an opioid or have a drink of alcohol, there would be no effects from it, because the naltrexone is already occupying those receptors, so the effects of opioids or alcohol are ineffective. But a few years ago, a doctor started to experiment with low doses, or we'll call them microdoses, of naltrexone. So again, the typical dose was 50 milligrams, but they noticed that at these lower doses, like 1.5 milligrams, that the medication would only sit on the receptors for a short amount of time, like 3 to 4 hours, and then it would disconnect and process out of the body. Now, the reason why this was different than the higher dose was because when it would block it just for a few hours, what they noticed was that the body then would produce more endorphins because it was blocked. And endorphins are your natural opioid in your body. That's the opioid that we all make that makes us feel energized and good and focused. And so when it would only block it for a short time, the body would kind of combat that blockage with creating more endorphins. More endorphins means less inflammation, more energy, better sleep, better recovery. There's just a host of benefits to this action. Now, how does this relate to Kratom withdrawal? Well, there has been a lot of research done of using low-dose naltrexone for people who are recovering from opioid abuse. Now, while Kratom is not officially an opioid, I get it. It does work on the opioid system as well as the serotonin system and the dopamine system. So you got a lot of systems going on there. And I read a lot of research papers talking about how low-dose naltrexone when used after someone comes off of opioids, helps the body to recover faster. It helps the opioid receptors to get back to that state of homeostasis faster. And so I started using LDN during my withdrawals, maybe into week 3. There is no immediate relief. LDN, it takes time for it to build up in your system for the body to begin to make those endorphins. And I have no solid proof that this actually has helped me. There's no way to actually prove it. But based on the research, the things that I read, which I will link a bunch of the research papers down below if any of you are geeks like me and you want to read about it, it's really fascinating. Because again, in these papers, they saw that there was a quicker turnaround during withdrawals or pause, the post-acute withdrawals. When people were prescribed the low-dose naltrexone, they recovered faster. And not only that, I stayed on LDN. I started LDN completely outside of Kratom. I started it years ago as a longevity medication, not realizing it had all of these other benefits that are associated with Kratom. Now, here's the caveat. If you take too much LDN, it will block your opioid receptor and you will go into precipitated withdrawal. So if you're someone who's using Kratom daily, if you take too much of LDN, it can cause you to go into very, very intense withdrawals. So it is not recommended to take LDN while you're still taking Kratom. Technically, you can at very low doses because, again, it's not going to fully block the opioid receptor. But in my opinion, it's better to play it safe than sorry. So if you are tapering off of Kratom, I would wait until you get down to a very low dose, like maybe just 2 to 4 grams a day. And then you can start on that 1.5 with the intention of getting off of Kratom altogether. Again, over time, not only does it help the opioid receptors to recover faster, but it also helps by producing more endorphins in the body, which again is great. It helps you to sleep. It helps you to have more energy. It helps you to recover. It helps you to focus. I mean, there's just a lot of benefit to LDN. And again, LDN is very easy to get your hands on. I used a website called Ageless RX, which I'll put in the description below. I'm not affiliated with them. I get nothing from suggesting them, but it's real simple. You just fill out a questionnaire, a medical questionnaire. A medical doctor reviews it, and then they prescribe you the medicine. They send it to you in the mail. I think it's like $15 or $20 a month. It's very, very affordable. And I have been very happy on it. I plan to stay on it. And if you're someone who deals with chronic pain or chronic inflammation in your body, something like Crohn's disease, definitely talk to your doctor about LDN. Some doctors don't know about it because it's still kind of like a newer therapy that people are using for pain management. But I definitely wanted to share this, especially with those of you out there who are getting off of Kratom or have gotten off of Kratom recently and you're desperate, because I know I was desperate looking for anything to help my body to heal faster. If you got any questions about LDN and Kratom, I know it's like a rabbit hole. I mean, we can talk for a long time about it, but go ahead and leave them down below. Or if you've used LDN before for any reason, I would love to hear what you used it for and how it worked for you. Thanks for stopping here today. If you're new or you haven't subscribed yet, I'd invite you to do so. Obviously trying to build this channel back up to where the other one used to be. Also, if you want to get notifications from me anytime I put out a new video, make sure you hit that little bell as well. Thanks again for stopping by Joey Talks. My name is Joey, and I'll see you on the next video.